late. We are, what is it? 7 lines from the bottom on Nun Gimel. The line begins with Oirin Soibar. The Rebbe is asking here, or explaining actually, the principle of a bracha. That bracha is not changing anything. That is not the function. The intent of a bracha is to reveal that which is already destined to be nisgala, or is contained in the shoyrish, and for some reason it's being tardied, it's held back, and the bracha breaks through these barriers and it allows it to surface. As we see, on the one hand we find by Yankim we give bracha to Ephraim and Menashe, and Yosef objected that he is giving a bracha to Ephraim preceding Menashe. So Yankim said no, Ephraim does have that in him more than Menashe. So the question is, if that's the case, why doesn't he change it and give Ephraim the qualities that would put him ahead? The answer is, a bracha that's not a function of a bracha. Ephraim did not, Menashe did not have it in his source. Ephraim did, as we find in other instances. But Chanina Mandesa, for example, where he said, Misha Omar l'shemen v'yadlik, yemen l'choymetz yadlik, he actually can change the nature of choymetz, of vinegar, that it should burn. And I want to point out a little bit of a diuk, a little bit of an insight here. The way the Rebbe presents it is there would be a change in the sirufim. That's what the expression is, Misha Omar l'choymetz l'shem yadik. One who said, ultimately, as we know that the creation at the bottom is by amira, by a command. Amira is the first degree of specificity. It is not just a wish, not just a concept. It is actually specifying exactly what will be, what should be. To the extent that the very words and the oisies that are involved in that statement, this is what gives chayus to that particular entity. Like in Tanya, Baal Shem Tov said that the oisies, the letters that created the various creatures, they stayed in the creature forever. Pardon me.
Sirufim?
Huh?
What are sirufim?
Sirufim means joining, combinations of letters.
Okay.
Nothing in the creation is inadvertent. Nothing happens on its own and survives, so to speak. There's no such thing. Everything needs a koyach alaki to make it be and to give it presence. And these are the oisies with which it was created. Just like in Gashmi's Mamash, in what we are able to do. You want to make anything, we have to have all the parts identified and then put them together in an exact manner, and then it stands. And if we don't put them together in the exact manner, then it doesn't stand. Everything in the world that was created likewise was created using all the parts that participate in that entity and give it a presence and give it a stance. Oil burns because the cherufim, the godly oil that is involved in the oil gives it the possibility of burning, and chometz does not. Now, what I want we should understand like this. I just want to call your attention to a nuanced expression here. The line begins Oyin Soif, and the word before that, and the previous line, Umitzad Oyin Soif Baruch Hu. From the perspective of Oyin Soif Baruch Hu, Yochel Li Yeshini HaTzilufi. There could be a change in the tzilufim, in the combination, in the structure of the letters. Shegam chometz yidlak, that chometz also should burn. What is this emphasis mitzad Oyin Soif? We know that Rebbe can change anything in Teva. Miracles. We have seen miracles since the beginning of time. Mitzad Oyin Soif has a completely different, much richer and deeper intonation. This inyan, that oil burns in Teva, although yes, it's specifically a Teva in oil, but within the context of the world, it sort of makes sense that oil should burn and vinegar should not burn. As a matter of fact, water extinguishes fire. Because of its texture, because of its nature. In other words, it actually fits into the general world design. It's not a miracle, oh, oil burns. It burns because it fits into that design. The similar inyan, as we always say, we always said yesterday, I think, that we have Chochmah and Bina. Chochmah is the source for Bina. This source for Bina is not that it's a distant source and it's not participating in Bina. Bina takes it from Chochmah. No. Chochmah continues to give Bina its sense, its justification, its chayas. So that it is not, like we always say, one on one is not two ones, it's two. There is a chokhmah behind it, there's a real chayes behind it. So if you have oil burns, it's because in the essence, and from the worldly context, yeah, that's the way it should be. The Rebbe can change it, but then when you change it, it's unnatural, it doesn't fit. He can make anything. But the Rebbe is saying that he can change. Cherufim means Mitzad Oyin Soif Baruch Hu Yochel Hishtanis. Oyin Soif can perceive, no question, can see a natural view that oil should burn, that chometz should burn. It's not limited to that view. From a high perspective, chometz can burn. It's not unnatural. Rebbe are limited itself and descended to the point where, yeah, oil can burn, oil burns, and chometz doesn't. But it does not limit him in terms of this is the only way he can see it. Not true. This is the point over here. Mitzad Oyin Soif Baruch Hu. If you read these words, you see how nuanced these words are. Mitzad Oyin Soif Baruch Hu, from the perspective of Oyin Soif Baruch Hu, Yochel Li Yeshini HaTzilufim, there could be a change in the tzilufim. Not that he can change and make vinegar burn. That's nothing new. That oil in soif, it could made that vinegar should burn, and it should make sense because he has an unlimited view. Shigam chometz yidlak. This is the meaning of changing teva. Bracha does not have that phenomenon. Bracha can be mamshich that which it does make sense. V'chein hu be'emes b'inyan hatfila. The same is in truth in the principle of tefillah. Shekol inyono, with the focus of tefillah. What is the definition of tefillah? Sheyishtane eifen ha'hamshoch. That the manner that the hamshocha, the godly the force should change. Kefi shehu api seder hishtalshel. Yishtanu eifen hamshocha. Again, you have to read these words very carefully. Kefi shehu api seder hishtalshel. The manner of the hamshocha should change, but not that it should bypass seder hishtalshel. The hamshocha should be in seder hishtalshel, and if it's seder hishtalshel, it should change. As for example, when you have the tefillah, the refuas hachayla, for curing of the sick, and to bring bracha to the to the year, that it should be a successful year. Gam im api seder hishtalshelos. That even if api seder hishtalshelos, it has a certain there is the inyan of choila, there is the inyan of negativity in the year, but the hirotza in chodesh. This is the inyan from tefillah. Hirotza, there should be a new hirotza, and that should imbue itself into. Hishtalshus comes from the rotza. Rotza, the hishtalshus itself will change. Have to say the hishtalshus. This is the inyan tefillah. So therefore, we're going back to the original question. Why did not Yankiv affect by his bracha Shiyeh Menashe Godoy? That Menashe should be greater than Ephraim. And Menashe, after all, is the B'choy. However, the principle is this is not the function of bracha lahamshich milamaylo mehashoydesh umokoir, to draw from the source above, higher than the sheresh umokoir, than the source of this particular inyan. Or l'shan is adoba, and to change intrinsically the nature of this thing. This is not in bracha. It's a white, it's only water. Is to be mamshe m'sheresh u'mokim. Why do you need a bracha? To draw from the sheresh u'mokim. The yois, for it is being that sheyochel is akova chas v'sholem, that there can be an interference. Chas v'sholem. Al kein tzrichim bracha. This is why you need a bracha, that there should be no interference, and the hamshacha should come smoothly. In our moshel that we said There is Chochmah and Bina. And Chochmah and Bina are the phenomenal combination. Because in Chochmah is rooted in Amunah. Chochmah we perceive and we sense the purest truth. And Bina draws from that. And despite that we see the purest truth and we try to bring it down into Bina, it gets stuck. And we have all kinds of interferences. But how does this work out? How does this work out? How is this possible? Like we said, if we don't look at it from the Chochmah, from the truth perspective, we look at it, how's it going to work out over here? There is an oil that's nimshing here, and that gets blocked off. This in Pshat Yochel is Hakova Chasvashon. This is something which we all experience very commonly, where everyone perceives the truth in the pure, that yes, I know this is the truth. Then go bring it down into actual structured thought. It doesn't work. And I lose spirit, I lose my way. Because Yochel is Hakova. Because when it comes into the world, there is opposition. The world doesn't want to accept it, or whatever it is, you don't want to accept it. There is a... what? A chutzpah, absolutely. This I should not eat. I know this is not good. But then when it comes to, you mean I'm not going to eat it? Ever? Unconscionable. This is why there's a necessity to need a bracha. The gam, and also the hayois, being that chol hamshoch, that any hamshoch, any drawing down, mimadrego lemadrego, when you draw from one madrega to another, hare mismaid hoy. When it comes down to a lower madrega, so then the oil is reduced. Mismaid hoy. Ve'al zeh hu inyan habrocha. And here's where the principle of bracha comes in. Sheyumshach, that this hamshocha from the high madrega should be nimshach, k'may shehu b'shorsha. The way it is in the shorsha, nothing should be lost in this transition. Again, we have already made illustration of this. Like we said, one and one, when it comes down into the world, mismaid ho'er, it's no longer two, it's two ones. That's a normal thing. In order that we should have it in the same oil as we have it in its source, we need a special bracha for this. And then, this is what it says, Chochmah and Bina, Frein Rein and Mispash. These are two friends that never separate. That Bina is on par with Chochmah. But we know in our experience that it's not. But Bina is actually capable of focusing in and sense what it is in the Chochmah. Except, as we said, as it comes down, some of the oil gets lost. But really, the initial concept contains the full brightness of Chochmah. That it should be drawn just the way it is in its source. Now, I can be nimshach the way it is in its source. The source is much higher than the madrega to which it's being drawn, because he said the inyan ha-bracha, because the function of bracha is who gamkein is also lahamshich toisves oir. It is to draw toisves oir, increase of oir. What does that mean, an increase of oil? Hainu, which means that this inyan, just the way it is in its source, this is how it should actually be nimshach, be present, begilui, in actual fact. Exactly the way it is b'shoshu m'koyro.
When you say that, you just said that the Bina is capable of perceiving things in the same purity. Here we say about Tosfos or that's needed. It's only in the case when there's some kind of blockage in Bina, because healthy in a normal way it would get its way.
Even though Bina perceives the inyan the way it is in Chokhmah, but to bring it down into the Bina itself, there has to be a loss of oil. A loss of oil. In our time, we have technology development that boggles the mind. Technology. Like wishful thinking, and it happens. Almost perfect. Not perfectly, but almost perfect. Almost perfectly the way you imagine it, the way you wish it to be, that's the way it is. But then there is also some kinks here, some kinks there. Now, what is this? What is this idea? What is this perfection of technology? This perfection of technology is that the idea is there at a higher level, just on a conceptual level. And then you want to capture the idea and present the idea on a physical and an actual structure, that the structure should not interfere with the idea. There should not be any limit, which is virtually impossible. But nevertheless, I said the perfection in technology, it comes closest, it constantly comes closer to the concept itself. Now, this is an illustration on our level that perfection means that you translate the way it is in the concept without losing any of its purity, but it is impossible in Gashmiut. Without losing any of its purity to. What did I read one time? The Rolls Royce. Everybody heard of a Rolls Royce?
What?
Rolls Royce.
A Rolls Royce. Oh yeah.
So this guy was driving a Rolls Royce, and it broke down. And they called the company, and they came, And they fixed it. Then we called him, what do I owe you? For what? He came and fixed my motor, it broke. Post boys don't break. This is Ayin from Toisvus Oiris. Because the oil, the way it is in Chochmah, cannot affect Bina. Because in Bina it has to come into Kelim and has to come into structure, and it has to be lost in the process. And yet, if there's Toisvus Oiris, there's nothing lost in the process.
Don't you need the kelim also to be able to hold those toisvos oros?
Yes. After the kelim, this is. You have to be raw. You have to accept it. The beetle. Because the minute you start thinking that this is something which is coming to you, which is natural, you lose it. That's Meshakosov, as it says, Vayiza Yitzchok planted, Vayimtzo Meir She'ori Bavorachei Hashem. Yitzchok planted in that land by Gror, and that year was a famine year, and he was blessed, and it grew Shaloi B'Yerech, because by Vorachei Hashem, because the bracha that Rebbe gave him brought down the Hamshachah purely the way it is in the source. Okay, now we have to interrupt for a few. Finish talking about bracha, we have to go into tefillah. Have a great day.
How you doing, Yitzchak? Huh?
Destined